Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump notes Qatar lobbies for Iran as reported progress made in nuclear talks with the Islamic Republic. RGC Commander Hussein Salami warns any attack against Iran's nuclear infrastructure would result in a devastating response against Israel and the United States. Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Dani Danon, urges the UN to help distribute aid to the civilian population of the Gaza Strip. Rapid changes throughout the Middle East are presenting the United States with opportunities of historic proportion. In a U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing for President Trump's nominee for the Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs, retired Colonel Joel Rayburn asserted that Israel's major military successes versus Iran and its proxies, accompanied by the fall of the Assad regime, have opened the opportunity to use Washington's diplomatic arm to capitalize on these changes.
It's a time of rapid change in the Middle East, presenting the United States with opportunities of historic proportion. The first area of opportunity lies with Iran. Israel's military successes in 2024, coupled with the departure of the Assad regime, crippled Hezbollah and brought the Iranian-sponsored axis of resistance to its weakest point in decades. We now have the opportunity to use our diplomacy to capitalize on these changes so as to neutralize the threat Tehran has posed to U.S. interests and allies since 1979, including by ensuring the Iranian regime can never develop or obtain a nuclear weapon. We also have the opportunity to ensure that the Iranian regime can no longer use Lebanon and Syria as platforms for destabilizing the region, thereby giving those beleaguered countries a chance for a more promising future. Second, there is a concurrent opportunity to promote peace and prosperity in the region by building on the landmark Abraham Accords, both by deepening the existing agreements reached in 2020 and by helping to forge new accords with new peace partners as well. The Gulf region, where the United States is growing its strategic partnerships and becoming the partner of choice, will naturally be a major focus of this effort. As the President's trip shows, the United States will benefit enormously by increasing our competitiveness in that region and providing opportunities for U.S. companies to help drive regional integration. I support the administration's commitment to strengthening the existing partnerships between Israel and the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco, while also promoting normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia and other Arab states.
U.S. President Donald Trump concluded his visit to the United Arab Emirates today in what he defined as an amazing trip, which included trillions of U.S. dollars in investments from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, as well as the United Arab Emirates, with the latter announcing a $1.4 trillion investment in the United States over the course of 10 years last March. Meanwhile, circulating reports indicate progress in nuclear talks between the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran, despite lingering gaps. Progress was reported after President Trump met with Qatar's Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, after which the American leader explicitly stated that the Ayatollah regime in Tehran should thank Qatar's leader for fighting on their behalf.
Iran is very lucky to have the Emir because he's actually fighting for them. He doesn't want us to do a vicious blow to Iran. He says, you can make a deal, you can make a deal. He's really fighting, and I really mean this. I think that Iran should say a big thank you to the Emir, because the Emir is fighting very much that we don't. And there are many people that want me to go the other route. They say, just knock it out, because nobody can beat us. We have the strongest military in the world by far, not China.
It is important to know that the vast majority in both Congress and the U.S. Senate are demanding that Iran will no longer possess the full cycle of nuclear proliferation, with focus on Iran's ability to enrich uranium, which, if removed, could essentially prevent Iran's capacity to achieve nuclear weapon capabilities. Nevertheless, Iran continues to reject any possibility for a diplomatic solution that would prevent it from enriching uranium, and stressed that it would not capitulate in the face of any threats leveled by the United States.
ما در مقابل هیچ قلدری سرخم نخواهیم کرد. این چیزی نیست که فقط من این کارو نه. همه شیرزنان ما و جوانان ما و نخبگان ما و اونایی که غیرت و مردانگی دارند خیال کرده الان اومده اونجا شعار بده ما خواهیم ترسید و در مقابل وعده‌هاش کوتاه خواهیم اومد.
Elsewhere in Tehran, the commander-in-chief of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, Major General Hossein Salami, proclaimed that his military arm of the Ayatollah regime, which is designated by the U.S. State Department as a foreign terrorist organization, would rain upon Israel and the United States bases throughout the region over 600 ballistic missiles in the event of a joint American-Israeli strike on the Islamic Republic's nuclear infrastructure. General Salami continued by proclaiming that Iran has made major advances in defense technology, which it intends to unveil in the near future.
ما در هفته‌های اخیر به یک دستاورد عظیم در عرصه فناوری دفاعی دست یافته‌ایم که امروز از آن سخنی نمیگویم.
Turning to the United Nations in New York, where the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a decision not to assist the U.S. plan of distributing humanitarian aid to the non-combatant population of the Gaza Strip.
I have been calling to the United Nations to be involved. They speak so much and so highly about the humanitarian issues in Gaza. And here you have a fund led by the United States, ready to go. It will start to operate very soon, and it will be run by the fund itself. Israel will not be involved inside the operation center. We will not be the one giving the aid. We will not be even in those centers. It will be run by the fund itself, led by the US, and I'm happy that a few NGOs joined these efforts. And I'm calling to the Secretary General to recalculate his approach and to think if he really wants to be involved in the humanitarian aid in Gaza, he should sit down with the head of the fund, with the US mission here, and understand what is going to happen. It's a major operation that will start very soon.
Israeli ambassador to the United Nations Dani Danon further stressed that the manner in which the UN distributed aid in the past, in which the Islamist Hamas exploited it at the expense of the civilian population, will not reoccur.
The UN should understand that what happened in the past will not continue. We will not allow Hamas to take advantage of the fund. We have seen what happened in the past when UNRWA or other agencies tried to be involved. We welcome the involvement of UN agencies, but they will have to work with the fund, and the fund will make sure that the aid will go to the people. The packages will be much smaller. It's not going to be containers like we saw in the past. It's going to be packages per families. So we do encourage the UN agencies to be involved and to engage with the fund.
Ambassador Danon went on to reveal that the United Nations effectively gained the information from the media rather than approach Israel or the United States for the details of the distribution plan.
I listened to Mr. Fletcher remarks at the Security Council the other day, and I can tell you that he visited Israel, but he had no discussion about that fund because it was way back, and in the last few weeks there was no dialogue about that. So I would expect UN officials to engage. When they want to speak about issues, they know how to reach us. They know how to reach the US mission. We are here to engage.
They haven't reached out for...
No, they haven't reached out. They got some information from the media, I assume, but I think they should look into that and to realize that if they want to be involved, that is the way to be involved.
Regardless of Israel's calls for the UN to engage with Jerusalem and Washington on the distribution of aid, the world body continues to maintain that the proposed plan goes against the global institution's principles.
Will UN staff in Gaza be banned from cooperating with any operations that they conduct?
I would characterize anything as a ban. I've made it clear that that we participate in aid operations if they are in accordance with our basic principles. As we've stated repeatedly, this particular distribution plan does not accord with our basic principles, including those of impartiality, neutrality, independence, and we will not be participating in this.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he had spoken to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in relation to the situation in the Gaza Strip.
Well, let me just say, I spoke to the Prime Minister today of Israel. I know the President's been in contact with him earlier this week. The President talked about this in a speech the other day, that the people of Gaza deserve a better future than what they've had under Hamas. We think that the elimination of Hamas is what achieves peace. We're troubled by the humanitarian situation there. Both the Israelis, with American backing and support, have offered a plan to deliver aid that doesn't get diverted or stolen by Hamas.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. It is important to highlight that TV7 Israel is a donation-based non-profit ministry with all of our productions available free of charge. Therefore, if you're blessed by the content of our programs, we would deeply appreciate it if you'd consider supporting TV7 Israel with a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, I'd like to encourage you, pray for the hostages in Hamas captivity. Pray also for peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.